Hi Dominic, how are you?
Hello, I'm very well, thank you. You?
I'm good, thank you so much for joining us on We Love Movies.
Very nice to be here on
It's,
We Love
it's
Movies.
great to have you on the show. Now you're starring as Sammy in the animated feature A Turtle's Tale, Sammy's 3D Adventure. Can you tell us what this is all about and what is it that you liked about Sammy?
Well, Sammy's adventure is you see him from his birth popping out of an egg and sort of failing immediately as a hatchling
Yeah.
and unable to get out of his hole. Um, and it's a tale of his extraordinary journey around the world through the seas, finding friendship and love and the difficulties. It's all sort of things that we can relate to in our own lives, really. I thought it was a really brilliantly put together, a heartwarming story with a lot of very touching moments and a beautifully made animation. It's something that I've always wanted to do, and I wanted to find the right one to do it with, to put the voice to.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think it's a kind of perfect bit of family. It's very difficult to find entertainment for the whole family can really go and enjoy, and it seems that the adults were enjoying this in equal measure, and the 3D is so exhilarating on this one that there's a lot of enjoyment out of it. That's why I kind of, that's why I just responded to it immediately. So
Yeah. And how did you find the experience of working on on an animated film? Is it really different from working on I suppose, a live action feature?
well, it's very different. The times that working on a feature normally have any re- relevance to it. So when you're dubbing your voice over what you've already filmed, which is much easier in a way because you've already acted out those scenes, and then
Yeah.
it's just redubbing it, as it were. This is you've got totally different um, and also animated characters that you're trying to bring to life with your voice, and the better the animation, I'm sure the easier it is. And this was there's such sort of well-rounded, brilliantly drawn out characters that it was quite easy to just find a voice for them. And but I was surprised at how big, how large you can be, and the kind of massive vocal range that you can put into it. And
Yeah.
because well, the expressions are already there on the faces of these animated characters, then you just need to you need to fill it with what seems real. It's really good fun, but
Yeah.
it's hard not being in the same room as the other actors, and they're all such brilliant actors that were in this cast that it would have been lovely to interact with them, but you have to kind of second guess how they would be doing it.
Yeah, see, that's got to be tough.
Yeah, it is. But it's nice to know who they are, and
Yeah.
then you kind of can have an image of how they'd say it in your head. You never quite get it right, but um, yeah, it's different, and you need to be quite. Yeah, I suppose you just need to take a few risks and make an absolute fool of yourself in a studio environment, which is probably best done on your own.
Yeah, the safety of the sound box.
Yes, exactly, and we love that.
Now, Dominic, you really seem to mix things up from your work. I mean, from working on the stage to making musicals like Mamma Mia and period dramas, and now this animated movie. How do you choose your roles?
Um, what do I do? It's anything that I find compelling, really, and it gets harder and harder because there are different temptations, and you sort of become a bit clouded as to what's good. It's
Yeah,
very difficult. So it's a combination of does the script is the script compelling? Does the director's work that they've done seem uh, appealing to you? Can you bring something to the role that is believable and that's interesting for others to watch?
yeah,
It's a combination of things, and you often need a bit of help to lead you in the right direction. But I've been lucky enough that things do seem to have been rather different, and it's also that need and want of it to be different, because
yeah.
otherwise you'll stagnate, and that's no good for anyone really. So it's to keep finding work that challenges you, I suppose, and in the hope that it's there,
Mm,
and the hope that you get it if you audition and that you're right for it.
yeah.
But you don't often make the right, so you can. I've just been very fortunate that the right jobs seem to have come along at the right times.
And do you still have to go through the auditioning process, or are scripts just coming into you?
A mix, really. It's funny because you sometimes it's 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 nice in a way to audition, because then you know that the director has found something that he or she is looking for,
Yeah,
and you immediately approach the project, and you can turn up on the first day knowing that you've already done something that is right in the eyes of the director. If you kind of are offered something, yes, of course, they've seen other work that you've done, and it's very rewarding, and it's very kind, and it's a gift to be given that opportunity. But you're kind of doubled over in fear of not having a clue what you're doing.
You've got those first day nerves.
Yeah, always. It's always, and everyone does, no matter how, you speak to anyone who's experienced, have done hundreds of films. Everyone's always sort of got that trepidation and fear on the first day of shooting, because you're suddenly exposing yourself and saying, look, this is what I've come up with. And you could be met with silence and sort of
you just hope for the best, really, don't you?
Yes, you do.
Now, if you could have your pick, what would your dream role be? Like, who would make up the cast and who would be directing it? Have you ever thought of something like that?
I haven't. And if I had, I don't think I'd say, because it immediately puts me out. It either offends or...
You left me out. Why is that?
Yeah, exactly. There are obviously lots of people and lots of cast people that I'd love to work with, but I don't ever like to say in case it never happens.
Yeah, and what about, is there a genre that you haven't tried yet? Because you've tried so much, Dominic. Is there something that you think, actually, that's something I really want to give my hand, a go at?
Try my hand at. I suppose a fully fledged comedy might be quite something. I finished a film playing a psychotic, murdering lunatic. So maybe something a bit lighter after doing that. Yeah, maybe.
You'd need to mix it up, wouldn't you?
I think so, after that.
Yeah.
That's why I played Turtle.
That's a perfect way to get over that one. But the start of the year really seems to be all about awards season. It's like awards season overload. Do you enjoy that part of your job? Or, when you're coming to the end of it, you're like, oh, not another one?
It would sound awful saying that. Oh, no. They're fantastic fun, but... more often than not, and what you seem to, it's about work, really. All those events are often about, you meet wonderful, interesting, like-minded people in your industry who you hope to work with in the future, who are extremely creative, and you end up having a truly compelling chat of an evening. But it's ultimately, you're on your best behavior, you're at work, really. And although there's moments of fun within those evenings, it is about sort of you can't really let your hair down, just have a really fantastic time and behave in the way that you really like to behave if you're in some seedy underground car
totally
park.
Different, yeah. But like, talking about letting your hair down, a place that you had to sort of keep it together, and I have to say it was my favourite moment of the BAFTAs, was the way, and I really don't cringe, because I actually really liked the way you and Rosamund Pike handled the whole autocue not working. What was going through your mind?
Well, a number of things.
Get me off stage now.
Pretty much that. Yeah, I don't really know what went wrong. It's extraordinarily daunting when we sat, because we know each other quite well. We've worked together before, and we came up with this decision, or Rosamund came up with this decision to rewrite what was written, which was a good idea at the time. But as we approached the stage, and I think the fear factor kicked in a bit, and you suddenly look down and you see who you're who you're in front of, and this autocue is seems like miles away, and you can't read a thing from it. It all just collapsed horribly, and yes, I would have rather not been there. It was quite painful.
Oh, well, I thought
but funny. It didn't matter.
Yeah, I thought you handled it really well. Dominic, thank you so much for spending time with us. It was a real pleasure.
Nice to chat to you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.